Welcome, Vault Dwellers. My name is Nacho Bidness, and there's Cheaty McCheatface. Now, certainly the radiation that gave her superpowers has destroyed her good looks, and someone made the unfortunate mistake of calling her ugly. So after the screaming stopped and after she cleaned most of the blood off, she was kind of sad because she has lost most of her hair. So she went to Diamond City, got herself that ridiculous wig, as well as that pretty dress to try and reclaim some of her femininity. But enough about my roleplay about a woman with superpowers and anger management issues. Let's take a look at Croup Manor before we do any building or any scrapping. No background music today because gotten a couple comments that it's distracting or has drowned out my commentary, and although I don't particularly like the sound of my own voice, if the background music is not good for my viewers, then it needs to go. The real world part of the story here is that Mad Queen Show recently asked for suggestions on her slog settlement. She was building a salon, and I've seen plenty of ghoul-only settlements at the slog. And why is that guy still alive? Not anymore. Seen plenty of ghoul-only settlements at the slog, and I've actually done one myself. But I thought that it would be fun if she captured a bunch of super mutants using the Wasteland Workshop cages and made it a super mutant salon and a place for super mutants to get pretty. I don't think that it really captured her imagination the way it did mine, and really with the limitations of mods on PS4, it would be difficult or maybe impossible for her to pull it off anyway. But it did get my own creative juices going, and I decided to make my own super mutant settlement, and that's what we've got going on here. Now, the build area is nice and flat, and it's kind of surrounded by these cliffs, but it is very small, and that means that there's not a lot of room for structures outside of the manor house. You can see the outline of the build area there. That means that this is a great candidate for a super mutant settlement, because even with mods, there's kind of only so much we can do with super mutants regardless. I think what I've done here is pretty neat. Let's take a look at it after we do some. We are wearing metal armor today because that's as close as I can get my character to wearing super mutant armor. Also carrying a melee weapon because super mutants respect strength, and we certainly want the inhabitants here to respect us. We've also got Strong with us today because he is going to be what gets us safe passage in this settlement. Welcome to Croup Manor. Now, I'm just going to show the place off today, not going to talk about the mods that I used. I'll come back and do a nighttime tour and talk about the mods that we used to make this place. But in-game story here is that this was a Minuteman settlement that the super mutants have unfortunately come in and taken over, and all along the outside of the walls that the settlers originally put up here, the super mutants have put up all these meat totems and raider spikes and barbed wire fences and all the kind of things to warn people to stay the hell away. Let's go inside and take a look around. The sign here is a leftover from when the Minutemen were in charge. Of course, the super mutants can't read, and that means that they're too dumb to bother taking these signs down. They captured the settlers here. Of course, those settlers have all long since been killed. The people that are here now are other more recent captures, and there are some of them that are stuck inside this cage over here. There is a behemoth that lives here, and it certainly takes an awful lot of meat to keep that guy fed and happy, along with the other super mutants that live in here. And in fact, we can look through this kind of hole in this cage, and this woman is very distraught because what's left of her husband is sticking out of that cooking pot. I thought the sight of a couple of arms just barely sticking out was especially disturbing. Now, the super mutants have mostly cleaned out the manor house, and there's really no power here. No generators, no electric lights. The turrets that the settlers had set up previously to defend the place are all deactivated. They were obviously not enough to keep the super mutants out. They also have kind of cleared the manor house out. Some of the placement of the junk makes absolutely no sense, and others do at least make some sort of twisted sense, even to the super mutants, because they've got a baby carriage and a baby crib and what's left of baby daddy over here. They've turned most of the stuff around the settlement into various prisons and holding cells for their food. And in fact, what was the bathroom here has since been turned into a prison. This guy nonchalantly reading the newspaper is trying to be a subtle lookout. The guy behind him really isn't doing anything useful. He's kind of overcome looking at what's left of his friend in the bathtub there. But these two over here are the only two people that are kind of doing anything proactive here. That guy is trying to kick a hole in the wall and escape, and this other guy is resting. When the one gets tired, they'll take turns trying to get out of here. This bus over here is also turned into another prison, and this woman is watching what's going on and is, of course, worried. Not many ghoul prisoners in this settlement because super mutants don't usually bother too much with ghouls. They don't really care about ghouls one way or the other because ghouls are really too tough and too stringy to be good eaten. This guy, they did capture him, and he's wounded. He's been thrown in this trailer, and he'll probably die a slow and horrible death, but at least he's not going to get eaten. There are a few Brahmin around here, and the super mutants have kept them alive because they have a guy over here that every once in a while they will let him out to milk the Brahmin, because after all, Brahmin do have udders, and Strong is he's very confused. He's really convinced that if he finds just the right milk, that he will finally understand the milk of human kindness. And he has in fact ordered the super mutants to store all of that Brahmin milk over here. Of course, Strong doesn't quite realize that that the milk of human kindness is a Shakespearean turn of phrase rather than something that he can actually obtain and drink for himself. It was a Minuteman settlement. Of course, the Minutemen all died in the initial assault, but that's what's left of their artillery cannon that was here. Not a lot to see out back, just because this side it faces the sea, and there's a large natural cliff over here that kind of protects the place. For some reason, a lot of super mutants seem to congregate down there. I guess even super mutants must enjoy the occasional swim. About the only other thing going on back here is what's left of a mutated dolphin that the super mutants decided that they started to eat it, and they decided that they really liked eating people a lot better. Let's go around the front here. I don't think I've actually looked up at the house yet. The house is also, of course, decorated in super mutant fashion with impaled corpses and skulls and spikes all over the place. I was certainly thinking about all of the super mutant locations in Fallout 3 when I was putting all them spikes on. Let's go inside through the side door over here and take a look inside what's left of the manor house. Of course, the settlers had started to come through and repair the walls and get this place up and running. That gate was supposed to be closed, but doesn't really matter. The prisoner that is down here is shackled to the wall, and the mutants have actually forgotten about her. She is just kind of quietly staying down here, hoping that maybe someone will come and rescue her before she dies of dehydration. Let's take a look upstairs. The mutants have, for the most part, cleared everything out of this house. This room had kind of been partly repaired and expanded and turned into a bedroom, but of course the super mutants have thrown all the other furniture out. Basically, they've left the beds, and they left that armor station there is stuff that was just too heavy or too big to screw around with. This woman knows that she's gonna die, but she is trying to face it with some kind of dignity or bravery, and is taken to writing down her memories in the hope that someday somebody might find them and read them and remember her. On the third floor of the manor, again, not much to see inside because the mutants have mostly cleared it out. What's left of the bedroom furniture and a weapon station that they just never bothered to get rid of. On this little balcony or rooftop over here is where they've excuse me, they've got a lot of heads and other meat bags. There was a booze still here that the settlers had gotten up and running, but nobody's making moonshine around here anymore. They had their chemistry station all the way up here on the roof in the hopes that the fumes that this thing generated would just kind of blow out to sea, and there's kind of one last final shack up here that was somebody's home and was a place to start over, and now is just empty. Although it does have a nice view of the sea. And before the mutants ruined it, it had kind of a nice view of the settlement too. In fact, let's just go look down on this from above. A lot of misery out there. Let's go look at what's left of the first floor. If this guy will get out of my way. Run down here and show off what is probably one of the more disturbing places. Well, probably the most disturbing place if you're a human around here. This is the kill floor. This woman is stripped down, and they're getting ready to slit her throat and bleed her out before they take what's left over her over to the butcher. There are two ghoul women that live here. They were partners before the war, and the intervening couple hundred years, they have gone kinda crazy. They call the super mutants their babies, and they're more or less aligned with the mutants. The mutants just don't really care one way or the other, but these women provide food, and so they are tolerated. And unfortunately, these ladies like to make sure that their babies are very well fed. This woman over here is the other half of that ghoul pair. She wears pastor's vestments because she likes to give last rites to the victims before they're slaughtered. Of course, once her butcher friend does her dirty work, she cooks them up on that stove over there to serve to the residents of this super mutant settlement. So there you go. That is the entirety of the settlement, and I'm hoping I can get out the door here. Stay tuned for part 2. I'll kind of showcase the mods that I used to build this place up. Hope you liked it, and if you did, be sure to hit the like button down below, pretty please. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe, and if you didn't like, please tell me why down in the comments so that I can try and do better next time. Until next time, my name is Nacho Bidness, and I'm saying it's a great big wasteland out there. Let's go have fun in it.